Speaking of team
Yeah.
building, you see the Pelicans. We talked about this before. Everyone is up
Yeah.
for trade except their young guys. Herb Jones, was a
Yeah.
Missi,
Messi
and Trey Murphy the third.
I was kind of surprised that Trey Murphy the third isn't up for trade, but I think he'll probably be up for trade eventually.
Yeah, but you notice how they release these quotables right here, because instead of saying
Yeah.
Zion is up, because we all know if anyone's looking at the Pelicans, they're mainly gonna be looking at, hey, how much did it cost to get Zion?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And
Zion and Brendan are your main attractions.
yeah, and they really, instead of saying Zion's up for sale, they're gonna say, oh, everyone but Herb Jones. Like they're gonna mention all this extra shit. Like the Pelicans are,
Even Herb Jones. Herb Jones would be someone of a lot of value. That's why I think like for the right value, they're gonna trade Herb Jones.
what's so crazy? They actually had Dyson Daniels. They
Yeah.
of course they didn't have enough room for all these guys, but they could have better utilized that trade. Like you said it before, you thought that for the DeJounte Murray trade, you thought the Pelicans have you thought the Hawks actually have won that trade badly. And hey, right now it's looking like you were right, man.
Yeah,
Dyson
the
Daniels
Hawks
had
wanted that
20.
trade.
My man had 25 steals in 5 games.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the Hawks are a lot better with Trey Young just having the ball 100% of the game.
Yeah. Damn, Herb
And
Jones
then
put up.
Jalen's also another good passer, so you kind of want him to get the ball more too, especially considering he's only 24. You know.
Mm-hmm. Now with Zion, what do you think, man? Because the Pelicans, this team is all over the place. First of all, team building has never been something that they ever been good at, and I think
No.
building around Zion Williams, it's hard as hell, man. He's not
Well,
really
building
a rim
around both of these
protector.
guys is hard as hell.
Yeah, he's not a rim protector. He's not a shooter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's 6'6". He might be 6'5". What, like, yo, his body type is like, it's never been really seen before in the league.
And his body type is what gets him into like a star level player.
Yeah, and I don't think the Pelicans were ever built to even. They don't have the pedigree to even handle
No.
a situation like this.
Well, your second star doesn't really fit either. Like you look at Brandon Ingram, he can't shoot the three ball, especially when you have someone who's dominant in the paint. Having a guy like Brandon Ingram who can't shoot threes, it does become a problem. Because now what? You're gonna have two guys in the paint. Brandon Ingram's gonna shoot long jumpers, and Zion. Like, where does that leave Zion on the court? So it was kind of a mess to begin with. I think the lack of development on Brandon Ingram's and the lack of health really is what really hurt the Pelicans in this like kind of this era, like this Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram era.
Yeah, and then the lack of shooting. I mean, they have
Yeah,
guys who can shoot, but it's not really like it's like the kind of shooting that will space out the floor more. That's really what they're missing.
but you need your two franchise players to shoot at the end of the day, man.
Yeah, but even if they didn't
Yeah,
have that, they didn't even grab someone that can space them out fully.
yeah. I
Like,
mean, dude, think about it. Like, you have two guys who really need to get inside the score, right? Like, how many of those shots is like CJ McCollum? How much spacing is CJ McCollum really gonna get? How
mm,
much is spacing is like Trey Murphy or who else? Trey Murphy and Herb Jones is he's not that great of a shooter to begin with. So
yeah,
like
Jordan
how much are they
Hawkins
gonna?
might be better, bit of a
Yeah.
better
So how
shooter.
much spacing are they really getting? I think the Pelicans in their rebuild too, man. There's a lot of like a lot of bullshit moves that didn't really make sense to keep it real.
Yeah, like the DeJounte Murray trade, it didn't really make sense. They might as well had, if they knew the T Wolves were so desperate with Cat,
Yeah.
they're actually the ones that should have made that trade.
No, 100%.
Cat
But
Cat
I
would have
also
fit
think
in with them a lot better, space out that
I
floor
think
for Zion.
I think the Dejounte Murray trade, to me, it seemed like they wanted to trade Brandon Ingram. While they, I think they wanted to move away from Brandon Ingram after a shitty playoff series more than anything. But I think nobody was willing to bite the bullet for Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, that's a tough bullet to bite. Um, yeah, the Pelicans, just New Orleans. It's too many players. There's too many former players speaking on how over there it's just a mess. They never had the pedigree to actually build around Zion Williamson. It's
Yeah, I mean,
just
dude, look at the guys they got from their trade, man. I think like you look at Josh Hart, he would have been perfect on this team, but they let go too soon. Like you let him go for CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum's aging.
yeah, you actually have to have a plan. There's too much. Let's
Yeah,
get the next best available. Like when they made the trade with the Lakers, they instantly should have made another trade after that. Like there was
yeah.
no
I mean,
plan.
yeah,
You can tell there was no plan when they got the players for Anthony Davis. There was no plan because they stuck with them. I was surprised they stuck with all of them that long. From Ingram to Lonzo, I think Lonzo did he walk? He walked for free, right? He just
he
left.
walked for free.
Yeah,
And like, Josh Hart, he was a likable player in their team, so it never made sense.
but again, they had no
It never made
vision.
sense to me that. Yeah, and he's paying off big for New York. He's like what? I think he's starting, if I'm not wrong, for New York.
Yeah, he's starting. He's having an incredible season.
Yeah.
Again, it's very unfortunate, but I don't know. I don't know if the NBA has to take over this team or ship them to Vegas. They might have to.
But they have to do something. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm not very impressed with the Vegas crowd. They're kind of boring to me.
Yeah, the Vegas crowd is very well. You can't be impressed with them because there's no loyalty for the NBA Cup from that crowd. There's no loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually got a good matchup. I'm surprised Vegas didn't really show out for this game because they got to see Giannis and SGA.
Like given the Trae Young game, the crowd wasn't going all that crazy for that game, and you have like two guys who are very flashy in their game.
Yeah, Vegas is like the biggest fake big market. It's not really a big market. It's like a fly-in
The
market.
tourist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people moving from LA over there, so there's definitely room for growth.
Yeah.
As they got an NHL team, they have a football team. I think the NBA will be fine over there. It's just they're gonna have to get a homegrown team. Yeah, but when it comes to the Pelicans, man, going back to them, it's very unfortunate, bro. It's very unfortunate. But last season when we spoke about Zion averaging 22 points a game after playing 72 games, I told you that was a red flag right there. That was a red flag.
The red flag and the early injuries too, man. It seemed like it just seems like his lower body kind of gives up on him, man. Regardless, like even when he finally got healthy, like late in the season of last year, right? Finally got in shape. It just seemed like his lower body gave up on him.
Yeah, but last season, remember, he qualified for the awards. Last season,
Yeah, he did.
played enough games. He's played enough games, man. He qualified for every single award, and he wasn't even close to making all NBA third team or the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, like that was crazy. Like 72 games. What was that? His fifth season?
His fifth season.
Yeah. So 72 games, first overall pick, fifth season. If someone was to tell you that in a crystal ball in 2019 and told you him 5 years in, barely playing any games, he would average 22 a game, what would you had said?
Yeah, I don't think that's crazy, bro. But I look at the 2019 draft, and a lot of it just seems crazy. Like the amount of shit John Moran has gotten himself into, the amount of like things Zion Williamson, obviously, in his injuries. It's just that 2019 draft for whatever reason. Like especially the top two players, they haven't been as consistent.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't lie, RJ Barrett, credit to him where it's due, man.
Yeah, he's been the most consistent.
He was the least interesting one, but he's been okay. He's been solid. Just in a shitty situation when he first started.
Yeah.